Rookie cop Chris Dorman, checking out an alleged drug dealer, is shot 7 times.
I heard the shots. Pop, 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 pop.
His bulletproof vest would save his life. With this incident, part of a rising number of police officers shot. 216 shot so far this year, 32 killed. 90 minutes out in the heart of the Rust Belt, Warren, Ohio, a little girl calls 911. Her mom is having a fight with her boyfriend over some groceries.
Sorry, ma'am. We need to put it on. My mother's boyfriend is trying to abuse her. How old are you, honey? 11.
Then he pulls out a gun.
Here, I want you to stay on the phone with me. Do not hang up. I'm sorry that I'm crying, but your mom was just shot. You're going to be very upset. I seen blood coming from her head.
The police arrive. The groceries are scattered on the ground. Jessica Crowder is dead. So is her boyfriend, R.J. Culver, who police say turned the gun on himself.
Jessie was the kind of girl that would hold it in. If you love somebody, I guess it's kind of hard to leave them.
Her sister Heather says the couple had been on and off for 3 years. R.J. had been arrested for domestic violence at least 6 times before. On average, a woman will leave 7 times before leaving her abuser for good.
It would have been better if she could have got away from him. She felt that if she knew where he was, that her kids were safe.
Here's a sign that we had in memorial.
Not getting to see her, not getting to hug her, not getting to touch her. It's hard. And then you're going to see her 2 kids asking, when's Mama coming home?
During the 11 days we chronicled, 67 men, women, and children were killed in domestic violence-related shootings. It's 5 p.m. in the wealthy enclave of Fulshire, Texas. 42-year-old mother of 2, Christy Sheets, calls a family meeting in this upscale, pristine home. When her husband and 2 daughters, Madison, 17, and Taylor, 22, arrive, she takes out a gun. Police had been called to the house at least 4 times prior to prevent Christy Sheets from killing herself.
I promise you, whatever you want, I will.
This time, she kills her own daughters.
2 females lying in the road that have been shot.
The mother was shot and killed by a responding Fulshire police officer.
A staunch gun advocate, Christy recently put this post up on Facebook. For the devastated husband and father, culprit, mental illness.
Christy was admitted to a private mental health facility for evaluation and treatment on 3 separate occasions related to attempted suicide.
Her daughter Taylor, seen here in this video, was going to be married 2 days later. Scenes like this playing out all over the nation.
They're saying a couple people shot. 2 different locations.
Tonight we're on Chicago's troubled South Side, riding with Paulie LaPointe.
All right, which shooting is worse, do you know?
He's what some call a night crawler, a video journalist who spends his evenings covering shooting after shooting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Bishop first because that's a hot block, so.
But in this neighborhood, it seems like every block is hot.
76th and Sangamon. It's definitely a homicide.
There's a body.
Okay.
Covered up. How many times have you shot a dead victim?
At least 200 this year.
200 this year?
Yeah.
Those are human lives. Gone. She thinks she knows who may have been shot. She's calling somebody, and they're not answering her phone, and she's worried it's someone she knows.
The cries of Chicago, this happens at every shooting.
Even before the cries subside and the body can be removed, another call comes in.
People standing around now.
Oh, yeah. This is a hot zone right here.
So, somebody's dead on the street. Doesn't look like there are a lot of witnesses.
It's probably that those witnesses don't want to talk. Gotta be 2,000 people standing on the other side of Peace Stick over there. Somebody saw something.
Meanwhile, the music plays on as if nothing happens. There's something just not right about the way these people die on the street like this.
There's lead flying all over America, killing people, and it's something that should be addressed as a major health issue.
In fact, the American Medical Association has recognized this as a public health crisis and is seeking to overturn 20-year-old legislation preventing the CDC from researching gun violence. And while Chicago's reputation may precede itself, 6 months into 2016, already 101 more people have been killed this year than last.
The violence plaguing Chicago did not stop over this Mother's Day weekend. At least 49 people were shot over the past 3 days.
We finally stopped filming at 3 a.m. Saturday morning. But by the time America wakes up, one of 1,212 accidental shooting incidents so far this year has occurred. 2 brothers only 5 and 4 years old are playing in this house in impoverished East Orange, New Jersey. They find a gun. The 5-year-old shoots the 4-year-old, Christopher Sproul. Tiana Sproul's racking grief is almost unbearable. The 22-year-old mother has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child and a weapons violation. She's pled not guilty.
Not only is it a tragedy of the one that died, but the one who's still alive.
Within an hour, there's more gun violence in Chicago. 4 of this woman's family members have just been shot. She asked that we not show her face, fearing for her safety.
It's a beating on the back door. So when I open the door, he just falls right in, and I just see all the blood. Don't want to move him in case the bullet chokes, so I just take a towel and apply pressure.
But then her brother, pregnant sister, and friend also stumble in, also having been shot.
I'm leaving Chicago the first chance I get.
You feel like you need to get out of here?
It's not safe.
A mass shooting is defined as 4 or more victims. So far this year, there have been 185 across the U.S. In places like this, traumas are constantly being relived. Each new shooting tearing open barely healed wounds. Community activist Andrew Holmes is here at the scene to help victims.
Hopefully they survive these injuries.
But for him, it's personal. His daughter, 32-year-old Tamara Sword, mother of 5, was shot dead in Indianapolis, caught in the crossfire.
I worked very hard for many years as an activist to reduce gun violence, and it hits my home deep, my own daughter.
When you got the word about her, I mean, how do you even process it?
It took me through pure hell. Pure hell. You know, I just wanted to give up. I didn't want to give a damn about anybody else anymore. When I'm taking a family to identify their loved ones, it's like I'm unzipping that bag, looking at her.
A gun may have stolen the life of Tamara Sword, but it may have saved the lives of a Portland mom and her children. They arrived home to find an intruder in their house. She shoots him dead. One of 1,202 shooting incidents in a home invasion so far this year.
I would have done the same thing and then called the cops and been like, yeah, I did it.
Which brings us back to Chicago, where we started with the U.S. Marshals, veritable experts in taking armed criminals off the streets. On this day, they hunt for a suspect in a murder that shook the city of Broad Shoulders to its core.
It was a lady that walked out of Starbucks.
A stray bullet piercing Nelson's chest. The intended target, an alleged gang member on the same block.
She was less than 100 yards from police headquarters.
We've been working this case, obviously, day and night since it happened.
The suspect has been eluding cops for months. Finally, a lead.
We believe he might be in there.
When we come back, this shooting was only one of 322 fatals so far this year in Chicago, but this one had special meaning to the cops.
The May 20th shooting happened 2 blocks from police headquarters. A stray bullet piercing Nelson's chest.
There was somebody who just stopped in for a cup of coffee and was trying to make it back to her car.
Yvonne Nelson killed by a stray bullet as she was coming out of a Starbucks. Deputy Chief Stephen Kalouris was there that day.
You've been looking for this guy ever since it happened.
Yes.
Hard.
Yes. Everybody's got to know if they're going to partake in that violence, then there's going to be a result.
The police say they know who did it. Now they think they know where he is.
Got a shooter in custody.
The suspect, only 16 years old, is being charged as a juvenile and has pled not guilty. It's a big win for Chicago, but across the country, it feels like we're losing. Just after midnight, 18-year-old Gianni Corsentino is sitting in his car with friends at a gas station when he is shot and killed allegedly by these 2 men. The suspects one moment buying snacks, the next in an argument ending in homicide.
I never had a son. He was my son. He was my sidekick. And then to lose him, it's just sad.
At Chicago PD's high-tech command center, they're fighting crime with 27,000 security cameras and sophisticated microphones deployed by ShotSpotter, a California company supplying audio sensors in 90 U.S. cities.
Chicago's a city of 2.6 million people. So out of that 2.6 million, it's 1,400 individuals that are really driving most of our gun violence in the city.
Chicago police are trying a new approach by focusing their efforts on those 1,400 people and trying to offer them an alternative.
We will say, hey, you want to change your lifestyle, we're willing to help you. But if they don't choose to change their lifestyle, then we'll come after them with everything. But the sad tragedy of it is a lot of them become victims of gun violence.
On the 10 in the coastal Sarasota, William Brumbury took his kids to the gun range. 14-year-old Stephen, in particular, loved target practice.
Most outgoing, gregarious, friendly, loving person that you'd ever know.
Dad accidentally fires his gun, and the bullet ricochets, killing Stephen.
There's no way to wipe the images away from your mind of your little brother bleeding on your arms.
But the stories we can't depict for you this week are the suicides, which are often underreported. According to Mark Bryant, executive director of the Gun Violence Archive, 60 people per day kill themselves with guns, many of them in the military.
So roughly a third of that number of suicides by gun, military personnel.
Yes. And that could be anything from